I have that face. You know, the one that urges complete strangers to tell me everything. Please, dive right in and don't hold back. In a queue, at the bank, parking the car, walking the dog, buying a pack of cigarettes. People tell me their stories. Just walk away, women, I hear you think. Yeah, sure, you don't have that face. It usually works like this. Phase 1. The stranger makes eye contact. And I, error 1, smile. She takes a breath, opens her mouth to speak. Look away while you can, look away, but I can't. And before I know it, we've hit phase 2. The I can't believe this is happening to me again phase, which clungs into phase 3 when the first piece of inappropriate information lands. After that, others just like it follow surprisingly fast, so it's possible to move to phase 4 really quickly. And by then, I'm lost, because then there's phase 5, and in phase 5, I start asking questions. Only now do my do not have that face companions, who've not made error 1, realize I'm held hostage. While a simple distraction may have worked in phase 1 or 2, a successful rescue operation in phase 3 or 4 requires skillful negotiation. In phase 5, however, the use of force is indicated because by then I will have developed Stockholm Syndrome and will resist my rescuers. I've been dragged away from versions of Lolita, Great Expectations, Jude the Obscure, many other classics, fairy tales too. Most of the time, all the stories teach is that I am too polite. All too often, I'm left feeling sad that strangers choose strangers to hear them. But not always. I recently had a 4-story day. Probably because I spent it with a friend who has that face. Strangers got a double whammy of, please don't hold back, and we had no rescuers. Elaine's story begins with a question she is struggling to answer for herself. It spans decades and continents, marriage and divorce, birth and death, an epic. It meanders to revisit event after event, tracing a path that leads to the pivotal moment when she's able to articulate what she wants in one simple sentence. Her life changes as soon as she writes that sentence in the back of a favorite book. Not right away, not in an instant, but right then, change becomes possible. As Elaine tells her story, an intelligent, capable protagonist emerges. She is funny, honest, entertaining. She allows us to see her faults and her idiosyncrasies. She allows us to admire her strength and resilience. She holds her truth up to the light and arrives at the answer to the question that started her narrative. She leaves us with lightness and a belief in possibilities, a too early dash for independence, and a warped idea of love. Finds Carla in a strange country with a small child and his pornography-addicted father. When snooping uncovers her husband's long-distance affair with a lesbian couple and their Black & Decker Sander, she runs. Soon she has another small child and an abusive alcohol-fueled husband. When she opens her eyes to him, with his axe and woodcutter silhouette in her bedroom doorway, and he Fargo-inspired purchases a wood chipper, she runs again, this time into the arms of a good and lovely man. Her Carla's story has inconsistencies and leaves us with questions, not least of which is how that Sander fits in. She is a passionate narrator. We are jarred by the vivid carpentry imagery, and we run away, horrified, but grateful for having learned of the dangers lurking in hardware stores. Tammy blurts out her story the moment she sits down. It's been replaying in her head, driving her crazy, so when she at last has an audience, she begins at the climax, and that's where she stops. She hasn't written the end yet. She's living in the post-climactic pause, where she must choose what to do. Forgive? Forget? Someone else's mistake has changed her life forever. But he is powerless to make it better, and it all rests on what she decides. Tammy doesn't go into painful exposition. She knows we know. We've each lived in our own dramatic pause, sometimes for a week, sometimes for a month, sometimes for years, in that terrible limbo that calls for good decisions at the worst possible time. Thomas and Bridget's story is the sweetest of them all, a love story. She tells it quickly, almost in point form. She can't wait to get to the happy ending. And he gazes at her with such love as he listens. He's interested in every detail. When the story is told, they turn to each other, their love refreshed, and there is a collective warnings, affirmations, possibilities, romance. It was a chicklet day. We've been shown how ugly disappointment can be if you keep it. We were pushed from limbo with a dose of truth and hope in equal parts, plus a booster shot of romance. I was compelled to take a red pen to my life. These storytellers helped me write a decisive conclusion that was long overdue. It's not perfect. That's okay. Endings don't have to be. They only need to be absolute to make way for perfect beginnings. So I listened to the man when he told me he had Prestik in his ear. It's a good way to protect your ears from the wind, he said. He told me what I needed to know on a horribly windy day. I could not turn away from his kindness. I could not turn away from his story. He chose then to tell it. And stories are always told to me when I need to hear them.